So, I wrote this as general as I could. And I know I'm showing my face and I got Chicago in the background. A viewer contacted me. That's not that uncommon. I've had probably about 60 viewers contact me over the time at YouTube. Um, so, a viewer contacted me more than a few times. I've had viewers contact me via comment inquiring about various topics, usually concerning Antiochian Syriac Eastern Christianity, um, also known as Oriental Orthodox. I really appreciate these questions and I'm always glad to answer. Often I get questions about topics or asking to clarify something about Syrian Orthodoxy um, that are from cultural Catholics or Lutherans. I do my best to answer all their concerns, yet, after making 7 8-minute long videos in an attempt to give the appropriate answer to a person struggling with their spiritual identity, because they're kind of on the fence, leaning more towards, I'm not going to say atheism or agnosticism, but whatever. Um, the Eastern Christian view of God, um, heaven and hell can be quite shocking to a Westerner. So I always attempt to be um, as forward and honest as possible when describing the Eastern view so as not to cause confusion. I was asked to address a few lines in Paul, um, a few lines Paul had written apparently um, that contradicts the Eastern view of the afterlife. Upon the second reading, I was unable to find these verses in the first or second Thessalonians where I was told they were. Now, yet after I couldn't find the info, I politely asked the Inquirer for chapter and verse, which is, I figured that's normal. So I could either address his, so I could either um, address it or possibly reevaluate my previous understanding. The odd and shocking thing is the last comment the commenter left to me was somewhat hostile, insisting that they did not want to get into a debate. Now, if somebody says to you, in your whatever, Christian, Buddhist, Hindu, and they said right here, this actually is counter to your view of heaven or hell or purgatory or whatever your afterlife belief is, and you say, well, what's the chapter and verse so I can actually look at it, and possibly research the Greek. Um, And then the response was, I don't want to get into debate. I didn't start asking questions to get into a debate. No, this person had approached me and asked, you know, about certain things. I don't debate people. I think that's pretty well understood. I'm not going to give away this person's name, but I would just, I mean, just as a courtesy, I'd want to see which verses he's talking about because this will probably come up again. Um, but yeah, I don't proselytize. I don't respond hostily to people, and I think sometimes that can really irritate um, some people. Um, but I just thing is, I don't want to debate about it. But couldn't you give me just the chapter and verse? I mean, that's just a sentence, right? So I don't know if you guys have any um, suggestions. Please let me know. Again, I didn't use his name. I promised not to use his name from the first time I met him on YouTube. All right, peace to you.